Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind for that is imagine anyone listening, or you and me, or certainly, if you were to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is, like really know, that there is a spiritual dimension to reality, how would that change the way that you lead your daily life? Because we're so saturated right now, at least in America, with materialist, not materialist as in consumption, though there's that too, but materialist, all materialist scientism that says all there is material reality. There's no spiritual dimension and to anything, and that's that. And the danger of that idea, as practical as it can be for improving our lives technologically, is it robs us of a sense of meaning of the events of our life. If there is no spiritual dimension to reality, if there is no higher dimension to reality, then there's no purpose to anything. And if there's no purpose, then there's no meaning, and the events of our lives are random. They're random. Or they're either random or they're deterministic, as in it was supposed to happen from the beginning of the universe just as this mechanical kind of thing that took place for billions of years. So the thing is, humans are meaning-making machines. Our brains are designed, I think, to find meaning in the events of our lives and our collective events as well. And if we live in a deterministic or random universe, where is that meaning? It doesn't exist. But if we live in a universe with a spiritual dimension to reality, that meaning comes down into manifestation from that higher dimension of reality. And in that situation, everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. The most senseless, hurtful, harmful, and difficult things, and there are, of course, theological arguments against this, which we can get into. The most senseless and hurtful things in our lives actually have meaning. As hard as that may be for us to really accept that, acknowledging a spiritual dimension of reality means that our lives are pregnant with meaning. Every event in our life is pregnant with meaning, the best and the worst. And personally, I find that to be incredibly comforting. I find that knowledge to be incredibly comforting, to know that and to have validated this through years of practice. And this is the unique power of ayahuasca for me, that the most difficult events of my life, the most hurtful ones, I started out the conversation talking about my mother's death. That was by far the worst thing to ever happen given the circumstances. And the circumstance of it, there was violence involved and everything. That ended up, paradoxically, truly paradoxically, becoming the doorway for the greatest things ever to happen to me. The greatest blessings came in through that door. Would I go back and change it if I could? Yes, absolutely. But it's not to me to change these things. It's not to question the past. It's to use these circumstances to find the meaning of it and to transform and grow as a human being. And that is created, that knowledge is created by knowledge of the spiritual dimension of reality to things having purpose. It's not random, it's not deterministic, it's purposeful, it's written, it's authored. By who and what we can talk about, because that's a separate conversation, but it is authored. And I find that to be very comforting in studying these esoteric practices, drinking ayahuasca, meditating, studying the tarot or Kabbalah, or engaging in whatever esoteric practice calls to you, including dozens I probably don't even know about, is a gateway to discover that meaning. And by putting it into daily practice is to reaffirm that amidst the seeming senselessness of everything, there is actually a higher purpose and meaning to it. But that's the nature of faith. Faith, I choose to believe that this has meaning.